And hopefully he'll follow Mike's example and run unopposed for 4 years in 2013. We don't want anyone else to say that they were the first to serve a full term as Ulster County Controller. So with that, please join me in welcoming our County Controller, our watchdog, Elliott Auerbach.
So I had a conversation with Julian yesterday about what I was going to say today, and he told me what I was going to do. I was up in Buffalo babysitting for my 8-month-old granddaughter and her 4-year-old border collie. So I had very little time to write anything down, so I dictated my speech to my wife in the 5-hour ride down. Here it is. So she took copious notes. Let me just say, though, before I have the honor of introducing our congressman, let me just digress a second and talk about Mike Hein. I don't know if you realize this, but Mike has celebrated the 1,000th day of charter government last week. Not only are we proud of his accomplishments as Democrats, but I think the entire county is proud of his leadership, his courage, his boldness, and his ability to get the job done. Thank you, Mike. And I'll digress one other quick second to pay tribute to a man who I have followed his career closely because I aspire everything that he has done and everything that he stands for. And that's my fellow Hofstra University alumnus, Tom DiNapoli, the controller of New York State. If you don't know it, Tom has brought efficiency, effectiveness, transparency, and most of all, honesty to government. And we thank you for that, Mr. Controller. So now on to my job at hand, and that is to introduce Maurice Hinchy. And how difficult can that be? We all know Maurice as the public servant that he is. And let me just go back a few years and tell you the indebtedness that we have to Maurice as Democrats. Because it was in 1974 when Maurice first took his assembly seat that he turned back Republican control that was in place for over 50 years. Thank you, Maurice. We know Maurice, the public servant, and the hard work that he has put into his career representing us in Washington. But let me tell you about Maurice the person and the Maurice that I got to know. You see, I got to walk alongside Maurice in a number of July 4th parades. And I am going to tell you, it is amazing the people, it's brutal, yes. Especially when you're following him and he knows everybody along the parade route. He stops, he kisses, he kibitzes. It's remarkable. And that's a side of Maurice you may not have seen if you haven't been on the parade route or if you haven't walked along with him. And then there's Maurice, the person who stands up at the hoolie and sings. Allison is laughing. He sings his heart out. He sings his heart out singing an Irish song that is a tradition to his family. And then there's Maurice, the person who I saw on the last election night standing shoulder to shoulder with his daughter Michelle, just savoring the moment. You see, that's the Maurice we don't often get to see because we see him as the public person, as a public servant and not as a person. But let me tell you where the two cross over, where the two meet each other. And it's a personal story that I have about Maurice as the public servant and as a person. And it's about a sergeant in the Marines by the name of Carmelo Rodriguez. And if you don't know Carmelo Rodriguez's story, you need to watch a Katie Couric episode or excerpt that she did talking about Carmelo's life. Because Carmelo was an Ellenville boy, and as you know, that's my hometown. He was one of my peeps. He went to school with my kids. His parents died when he was very young, and he ended up living with his sister and growing up, and his dream in life was to become a Marine. And he did. And along the way, some things happened to Carmelo, and Maurice stepped in. And if you don't know the story, like I said, you need to watch this. Carmelo's no longer with us. But Maurice understood what was going on in Carmelo's life. Carmelo had come down with cancer, and he was misdiagnosed when he was in the service. And the service turned a blind eye to him. They denied the fact that he was misdiagnosed. They denied the fact that there was any wrongdoings. And Maurice championed his cause. And it's because of Maurice today that we have what I call the Military Medical Accountability Act. And it's not just for young men like Carmelo Rodriguez that Maurice stepped forward, but it's for all our sons and daughters, all our brothers and sisters, all our fathers and mothers who serve in the military today. Maurice Hinchy made a difference, and we thank you. So what more can I say? But here he is. He is our favorite son, our best friend, and our congressman, Maurice.